Hey everyone, and welcome back to Brian's Horror Movies for Life YouTube channel, and back to my 1980s horror series, 1982 review here in this video. And the movie we're going to take a look at today from 1982 is one that I don't have the physical media for, at least not yet. I streamed this movie on Tubi for free, and that movie is The Last Horror Film, also known as Fanatic. From 1982 with Joe Spinell and Caroline Munro. So, yeah, first time watch for me. So let's go ahead and talk about The Last Horror Film. So The Last Horror Film, also released as Fanatic, is a 1982 American horror comedy film produced by Judd Hamilton, directed by David Winters, and starring Joe Spinell and Caroline Munro. Its plot follows a delusional middle-aged New York City taxi driver who's fixated on the idea of being a film director, visits the Cannes Film Festival where he begins stalking an actress he is obsessed with. So Vinny Durand, a New York City taxi driver who lives with his mother, dreams of directing a film starring horror film actress Jana Bates. He decides to attend the Cannes Film Festival where she has been nominated for Best Actress for her latest horror film, Scream, as he hopes to meet her and get her to star in his film to kickstart his directing career. Accompanying Jana at Cannes is her manager and ex-husband Brett Bates, as well as her boyfriend Alan Cunningham, who has produced the film. Durand tries to meet Jana, but is turned away only to find out agent scripts are accepted. So basically you have to have an agent. I don't know why they didn't just say that. It has to come from an agent, the scripts do. Shortly afterwards, Jana and Cunningham attend a press conference where she receives a note saying, "You've made your last horror film. Goodbye." She goes to see Brett at his hotel room after and finds his decapitated corpse. When she later returns with the police, the body is gone. In the meantime, Durand stalks Jana, covertly filming her with his camera. Marty Bernstein, Jana's agent, runs into Durand and shrugs him off. Bernstein meets with the Scream's director Stanley Klein and his personal assistant Susan Archer, who reveal that all of them have received the same note that Jana received. So yeah, that's to set up the premise, the beginning of The Last Horror Film, or Fanatic, from 1982. As far as the cast goes, we have Caroline Munro as Jana Bates, Joe Spinell as Vinny Durand, Judd Hamilton as Alan Cunningham, Devin Goldenberg as Marty Bernstein, David Winters as Stanley Klein, and Glenn Jacobson as Brett Bates. So that's to set up the premise and the cast for the 1982 horror film, The Last Horror Film. I like this movie. I really like this movie, actually. It's a movie, like I said, I've never seen before. But it's a very fun 80s, like being in the movie making horror world, kind of film. It's a meta kind of film, and I liked it. I liked a lot of things about it. So let's just go ahead and get into it. Starting with the things that I did like about the film. And you got to start with Joe Spinell. I mean, the guy was just a phenomenal actor. Rest in peace to him. It's a shame that he died so young, so long ago now. But Joe Spinell's phenomenal in this movie. I think I might even like him more than I did in Maniac, and that's saying something, because I really loved him in Maniac. But his character is just so disturbed and emotionally childlike in this movie. He just does such a great job portraying that. Yeah, I don't know what to say. He, in a lot of ways, he can't. What he does, he carries the whole movie. He pulls the whole movie together as far as it working, even with the ending twist that I'll talk about later. It's believable because of his performance. So, yeah, just phenomenal, Joe Spinell. Caroline Munro as well is also really good in this movie. I think it's the best performance I've seen from her in any of the movies that I've watched with her so far anyway. I haven't seen all of them, but I just thought she was so believable in this movie, her character. So, yeah, the performances by those two main leads are enough right there to want to see this movie. I really enjoy we get it for a short time, but the New York City setting, but more so the Cannes Film Festival setting, which was very real. They actually did like a guerrilla style filming where they went to the 1981 Cannes Film Festival and shot all of this stuff, including like nude women on the beaches and stuff, and everything that goes with it. They didn't get anybody's permission. They just shot it and put it in the film. So you could argue they did it illegally. I don't know if they ever got sued or in trouble for that. I haven't heard, but yeah, I just that whole setting of the Cannes Film Festival and the fact that it really adds to the story and the atmosphere within this movie, that setting. And it also kind of takes you into the world of filmmaking and all the sort of the cutthroat backroom deals and everything. I thought it was a very interesting place to take the viewer, and that's part of what I really liked about this movie. So this, and then you got New York City in the early 80s, of course. Sorry, I got something in my eyes, guys, but I've always been a fan of like 70s and 80s New York City. And you get the early 80s New York City here. Not a lot of it, just a little bit at the beginning. Most of it is at the Cannes Film Festival in 1981. But yeah, I really like the setting here. The music and the score, I think, is really top notch. Very much of its time, early 80s, but it's fun and it's energetic. It's engaging. The soundtrack is engaging. Very early 80s. Kind of, I don't know if I'd call it rock, but it's just a very energetic soundtrack. And I really enjoyed the songs and the musical choices that were made in the movie. And again, I thought it added to the fun and the entertainment of watching this movie. You know, being a meta horror film, which this movie is, where it's all about the movie industry and that world, I really enjoyed that. It really worked for me. Again, it adds to the overall fun and charm to the movie. Well, this is a slasher movie. I think it's more than just a low-budget slasher movie that we got a lot of during this time, like Maniac. Or I should say like Maniac, it's also more of a psychological character study. It has more shine to it than a lot of the low-budget early 80s horror slasher movies. There's definitely a lot more going on with this movie, and it feels a little bit more... I don't know if I want to say a little bit more professional, but it's a little bit more studio, even though it's really not because of the way they shot the movie. But you know what I mean. A lot of the low-budget slasher movies during the early 80s are just that. You can tell they're low budget. This feels a little shinier than that. Maybe it's because of the two main actors and actresses here. Carolyn Monroe and Joe Spinell certainly helped to make it feel a little bit more, give it a little bit more gravitas and make it feel a little bit more shinier. I do think the movie's shot well in its guerrilla style, rough around the edges sort of filmmaking, much like Maniac to a certain degree. In fact, it's kind of funny. I've even seen that some of this film's released as Maniac 2 in some regions of the world. And not just because you have Carolyn Monroe and Joe Spinell, who happen to be in that same movie, but also Joe Spinell kind of plays a different character in this movie, but it's also kind of a disturbing character, an obsessive character. Even though in that movie, the movie overall was a darker, more dreary and depressing sort of tone, late 70s, where this is more fun and energetic early 80s. But as far as the characters, and sort of the overall story, it is very much like Maniac, so I can see why people in some areas of the world actually call this movie Maniac 2, but it kind of has some of that same filmmaking where it feels very, very dirty, very guerrilla style. So I thought that worked overall for the movie. The movie has solid kills, nothing overly great, but I thought the kills were solid. The blood and the gore effects are solid, both within the movie, as well as what's actually happening in reality in this movie. Like I said, this is a meta film, so I mean, you do have movie inside a movie where some of our characters are watching movies on screen by, like, Carolyn Monroe as Jaina Bates, the actress. Like there's a scene where her character's being burned in the movie, and I thought the effects on that were really good. The blood and gore effects in reality as well as in the films are really good. Just overall, very solid, very professional gore and makeup effects there within the movie, and the movie. So yeah, lots to like about the last horror film, also known as Fanatic from 1982. Really enjoyed it. As far as cons go, there is an ending twist, which I'm not sure entirely works for me. It feels a little bit rushed. It feels a little bit kind of a cop out, even though it's really not. When I think back on the movie, they actually do a good job with setting it up, even though I really wasn't thinking about it, which tells me that they did a good job. Because I've seen a lot of movies with twists, and a lot of times I can kind of see them coming, but I really didn't in this case. So I give them props for that. It definitely kind of subverts your expectations because, and this is where Joe Spinell's great performance also comes into play, because you think that what's happening in the movie is done by one character. And I don't want to give too much away here, but the movie kind of goes in a different direction with the twist that you get with about 20 minutes left in the movie. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if it entirely works. Maybe as I watch this movie more in the future, that'll bother me less. Maybe it won't be as much of a con, but I don't know. It just kind of felt bizarre to me. I'm not sure it entirely worked for this first time watch. There is some rough around the edges editing and filming having to do with that guerrilla style. There's some social issues in the movie that I felt were a bit heavy-handed. A bit of a heavy-handed theme. One specifically, the whole horror movies causing real-life violence, which I've never really believed. But it just felt like it was a little too heavy-handed. At one point, Carolyn Monroe's character of Jaina Bates is being interviewed by the press there, and they keep bringing this up about real-world violence based on horror movies, and yeah, we get it. We get what critics and the media think. They think it's all tied to. They think the real life tragedies are all tied to horror movies and video games, even though there's evidence to suggest that it's not. And especially in 2025, I would argue that it's more tied to politics, but I'm not going to get into that. And some of the things that are said out there, social media especially. But obviously for this movie that doesn't really fly because there was no social media. But anyway, that's kind of a nitpick. But I really don't have a lot of cons for this movie. It's just a very fun 80s, high energy, at times unintentionally humorous movie, and that's what separates it from Maniac. Maniac was not in any way humorous. It was very dark, it was very dreary, although effective and very good slasher movie. This is more, they're having fun more with this movie, even though it has Joe Spinell and Carolyn Monroe, the same actor and actress from Maniac. This is just a more fun 80s horror comedy kind of movie. So I highly recommend checking out The Last Horror Film or Fanatic from 1982. And I'm going to give this movie an 8 out of 10. It's kind of on the line on whether or not this is one of my favorite movies from 1982. It could be. It could at least be an honorable mention. But right now it's in the yellow. If you know my coding system, you know what that means. But it's an 8 out of 10 movie. I really did enjoy it. And I'm definitely going to add this to my collection, I think. I already got a Blu-ray in my cart for it. So with that being said, go ahead and comment down below if you guys have seen The Last Horror Film or Fanatic from 1982. Your thoughts on it, comment down below. Please like this video, hit the little notification bell, and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my upcoming 1982 movie reviews as part of my overall 1980s horror series. With that being said, thank you for watching. Hope you're doing well, but as always, stay scared. Bye.